Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is your host for the webinar Sabah Sarhan, which is actually organized and arranged by us students of BBA, and we are very pleased to tell you that today the forum would be shared by a very experienced individual, which is Sir Mervyn Lobo. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you? And I feel
Um,
very privileged
how-
to be,
Sorry.
I feel very privileged to be with you all.
Likewise. So there's a bit details that I want to share with you because I know this webinar is going to be really informative and interesting at the same time. Sir has affiliated with a firm, a Mary Lobo. You must a Mary Adam firm. A firm which represents and treats the leprosy patients in Pakistan. We all have heard about her very much while growing up because she served the country more than any Pakistani could ever do. So I would like you to tell about her before we start off with the managing and the pandemic that the world is facing these days. Because I know that back in 1947, leprosy was something which was like a mini pandemic and a major pandemic for our country as well. So sir, yes.
Well, I think for me it will be a personal honor to speak about a lady who has given so much to our country, Dr. Ruth Faw. As you said, I'm representing the Maria Adelaide Leprosy Center, uh, and I started my work with Dr. Ruth Faw in 1990, and she was an amazing lady. As we always say that though she's not with us, we miss her physical presence, but her spiritual presence continues to guide us. The program, when we talk about leprosy, no doubt, we are known to be a leprosy organization, but we have gone ahead of leprosy. Like the Maria Adelaide Leprosy Center, with its government partner, was the first to control leprosy in this Embro region, Eastern Mediterranean region.
Hmm.
And this again, the credit goes to Pakistani people. And we have been working all over Pakistan, uh, like from Gilgit Baltistan to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Azad Kashmir, Balochistan, Sindh. So you see, this has been the spread of the program. As I said, we have gone beyond leprosy. That is when we controlled leprosy in 1996, which was 4 years ahead of the WHO target. The target was 2000, but Pakistan controlled in 1996. After that, we started adding other disciplines like tuberculosis, blindness control. Of late, we are working in community-based inclusive development for the disabled and mother and child healthcare.
So basically, your whole career, you were interacting with people a lot and not sitting on your chair and working with the table and chair culture. So you guys, and you obviously, you're the CEO right now. So you have been interacting with everyone. So how is pandemic dealing you?
Can you come again? How?
How's pandemic treating you, and how you are dealing with the people around you, because throughout your life you have been interacting with people one on one, and a field like yours, it is really near to impossible, if I might think, to cater stuff and arranging things for the public and people who are in need, and for patients when you have a lot in your head and in your hand at the same time. So how you're
Well,
dealing with that?
when I talk about this pandemic, one can say that this virus has really complicated our lives. But again, life of a human being has never been simple. So, as we say, we don't talk about problems, we talk about challenges. So, this pandemic definitely poses challenges, both present and future, which is, of course, if you look at it now, it is beyond human comprehension. But
Indeed.
one thing is for sure that we have to learn to live with it, which we are trying to. And whenever there are any crises, there are also opportunities. So this pandemic, in a way, has press the, you can say, emergency button for us to hasten the pace of getting familiar with technology. Like our organization too, we were talking about, starting this telemedicine, online OPDs. We were talking about it since long, but as soon as the pandemic struck, we went online. So we have already started online OPDs.
Okay. So here is the question, because I have seen many doctors and so does patients questioning online OPDs. You know, you're prescribing on webcam or on call for that matter. But I know this thing very personally because I have been I've been going to that doctor since I was born. So once once he sees me, he knows that what is going inside me or inside my head, and he prescribes me accordingly. So I think the patient and doctor's relationship is not something which can be catered online. What do you want to say about it?
See,
Because there are two sort of people. One are saying it that okay, ठीक है, थोड़े को भी गनीमत समझें. The others are saying कि नहीं, this is not right.
see, I would agree with you. They say, and at the same time, something is better than nothing. When this
Hmm.
damage started and we started shutting down business, this was, I think, 24th March. And I remember that, staff was so worried that no one was willing to leave their homes. As a leader, you have to lead from front. Okay,
Yeah.
we with my team, like you see, we just started. We didn't take off a single day. We were there to show that okay, this is a crisis situation, and we are available for you all. And this
Yeah.
was, you see, the approach.
Okay. The approach, basically. Approach is really important in order to cater anything. So basically, you were there all this time. So what sort of a changes you have noticed beside the technological changes in the business? Because it is at the end of the day is non-profitable organization, and it has problems that any other organization might have or facing right now would be different because of the medical field that you are in. So, what are those challenges or the different things that you have not experienced in your 30 years of experience working in a firm?
See, when you said that with patients you need that personal interaction, which
Yeah.
present it has reduced to a large extent. But as I
Hmm.
said, something is better than nothing. What our team is still doing, since we are working for leprosy and tuberculosis, the treatment cannot be interrupted. So, what the team is doing, they are available for the medicines, and wherever possible, they are trying to reach the patients. Unfortunately, Pakistan, you know that we come under the underdeveloped countries zone. For us, it
Yeah.
is a big challenge in this sense. Like logistics, we have a problem. Then there are frequent power outages. So with this, you cannot have a smooth flow of telemedicine or online treatment. And we
Yeah.
have always been reaching out to patients who stay in far-flung, underserved areas.
So, like you have mentioned that we have and that you have faced administration problem as well. That must be many people are working under you. So, have you faced that barrier that in the initial stages? Like I remember, my mom have locked us all inside. I think after the middle of February. So this is the condition of every household in Pakistan. Must be yours, must be mine, and everyone around us. So how have you dealt with it? Because you're saying that the staff needs to be there because they can't be stop this internet connection problem at my end. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Can you repeat this, please?
Yeah, like you've mentioned that you have faced administration problems, that many people are working under you, and the kind of a field that you are dealing is patient of leprosy. So the treatments can't be put at halt, because I remember during the initial days of pandemic, my mom have even locked us all up before the government called the lockdown and everything like that, because थोड़ी सी है government सुस्त हमारी. So this is kind of a fear. It existed, and it is. but there are people like me who are saying ab hoti to ho, nahi hoti to na ho. But during those days, was it difficult for you to actually cope up with your, or boosting the morale of your team, and encouraging them that there are people who want them?
See, in the initial phase of this pandemic, there was a panic situation. Okay, even
Hmm.
among our staff. But now you must be realizing that it is gradually dying out. Okay, that phobia, that fear has reduced to a large extent.
Yeah,
And
it has.
yeah, and this is something you see, someone has to keep on motivating them that, okay, irrespective of the severity of this virus, first of all, let us be very clear that this virus is there. It's a big
Hmm.
challenge for humanity. And the
Yeah.
good thing is it's a global issue. And again, the entire global community, they came together to contribute towards minimizing the sufferings of the masses, whether it was
Yeah.
directly or indirectly. So
Indeed.
our people also in the initial phase when they were very scared, we had to convince them, and some majority of them who already worked with Dr. Paul, they took it as a challenge that this is the time to show that okay, we are there to serve the people.
So Dr. Ruth Faw was your leader who motivated, encouraged, and trained you in such a way that you can cope up with any sort of pandemic. This is not the first time that the world is facing pandemic, but obviously in our lives this is the first time. So how important her training, her life, and her whole being around you for so many years helping you today?
Let's see, to put it in a gist, she was a door to humanity. And through this door, people from all religious background, they walked in, all ethnic group, all creed, irrespective of color, caste, and religion bias, they all walked in through the door that was opened by Dr. Ruth Faw. And in our program that is spread
It was.
all over Pakistan, uh, there are people from different provinces, from different religious group, different ethnic group. We work together as a team. All right, and this is the that uh, teaching the practical way of Dr. Paul's working that we are following.
So it is important for to have a good leader who teaches you how to cope up with issues that you might face. But one more thing, that your organization is not restricted only in Karachi but also working in other cities of Pakistan as well. So was it difficult for you to sit here, because you must have visited those places more often, and interacted with your own team, so does the patients. So was it difficult during these 3-4 months for you, or how was your experience, and how did you find a middle way to deal with it?
See, as I said earlier, that we don't use such terms as difficult or problems. We say challenges. The situation has been challenging, but again, I think humans are made in such a way whenever there are challenges or crises, they perform beyond their normal abilities. And this is what the
Hmm.
team has responded. When they came to know that there were families of our patients who were suffering, we immediately responded by providing dry ration to them. We are working in this mother and child health care. So for the malnourished children, we started providing them nutritional support. I
Hmm.
have also been moving around. Last week, I was in Tandojan Mohammed. Again,
Okay.
this is a center that is close to Tharparkar to
Yeah.
assess the situation over there. Our team, another team, they just went to Dera Al Yar in
Uh-huh.
Balochistan. So this is how the team is very active. The other team is going to Gilgit Baltistan and all. So this is normal for us.
So if I talk about these, safety measures or the protocols that we all are abide now to follow, like the sanitizer or the PP dress and everything, was that did you face anything, like people and human beings do retaliate to changes? Not everyone accepts it, and the kind of a change that the whole world is experiencing at the moment is very abnormal to many of us, in fact to everyone. So was that difficult for you to, or what kind of barriers you have faced in convincing patients? So does the people of the rural, the areas like the village of Sindh, interior Sindh, do they take all these measures? And one more question with that you have mentioned prescription online or shifting that whole thing to online. So what kind of difficulties have you faced, or what measures you have taken to put all these things into action?
See, first of all, definitely the logistical challenges are there. Uh, Especially with our power outages, it's a big challenge. And when you try to reach out to communities in very marginalized areas, underserved areas, so
Yeah.
over there they don't have all these modern technologies. So these type of issues will continue to exist. What we are doing through our 157 centers across Pakistan is that our team is also spreading awareness about this virus. You see, in most of the parts of you know the underserved areas, people don't even know what this pandemic is all about.
Really?
Yeah,
that
so
that that is why they are getting affected the most. The Sakhar was affected and the interior Sindh is affected. So it is, the political dilemma that is happening around. So that was my question actually. There's considering all these things, because we all know कि हम कैप्टन जी गांव के लोग हैं, ज्यादा समझेंगे नहीं, और एक इलिटरेसी वहाँ एग्जिस्ट करती है। तो ये सारी चीजें जो हैं, ये कितना डिफिकल्ट था, बिकॉज लिटरेसी itself is nothing easy. And looking after so many branches of your organization and having a responsibility of such legacy that you have left behind,
hello.
how was the whole situation for you? Because it must be very difficult for for you to come up with solutions and possible ways to work under such situation and with such people.
See, let me explain you the scenario. Our experience has been that even if you go to these big cities of Sindh or any other province, uh, there is a lot of people going around. But most of our work are in areas where the population is not that dense. Like you see, I don't know whether you have heard about Jhandi. Okay, Jhandi, then there are Tera Mura Jamali, and there are Yog, Musa Khel, Loralai, and all. So out there, since the people are not moving around too much, so this pandemic has not reached that far. It is,
Okay.
yeah, it is mostly affecting cities where uh, there are a lot of people.
Okay. So I would like to take a few questions from my class fellows. They must be, interesting in asking certain questions. So yeah, Anish Kumar is asking, what challenges do you feel you have compared to those in office when you work from home?
Well, working from home is something. It's entirely a different, ball game. I would say. Working from home, you need all the paraphernalias. You need that structure. You need a room where which you can convert into an office. Then again, your family life is also disturbed.
Yeah.
You see, uh, your personal life and your work life, you have to separate it. So again, you have to set a time. People who are working from home, it's like if you are working 9 to 5, you have to have that thing. Okay, from 9 to 5 it is office, and after that it is my personal life. And then
Mm.
what you have to manage is that your entertainment, you have to move around. If you want to walk your dog, you have to go out. Then you have to exercise. One shouldn't forget. Then your children. You see, at times what happens, again, this is, I don't want to get into any controversial discussion. Uh, it has been now proven also that a working woman, she gives a better quality time to her children than a housewife. The reason is a working woman is always thinking about what is happening with the kids, and she feels guilty that she's not there.
Yeah,
As soon as
the
she's
guilt
back,
factor is there.
yeah,
The guilt factor is there.
yeah. So as soon as
And
she's
the
back,
girls are more competitive at the same time. And I don't want to be politically correct at the moment, but this is what it is.
oh
So
yeah,
this also, I would like to add on some more questions. Shasta is saying that considering the fact that all of us are somehow doing our work or taking classes from home, and like you said that your family life gets disturbed somehow, that the whole family has to have that silent thing या खामोश हो जाए या फिर वो एक ऑफिस का माहौल for that working hours. So is that at times was that frustrating for you, because you must be your missus or your kids would be it
well,
is a, it is not that situation where you can expect everyone to cooperate like 24/7 with you.
for
So
me,
was that frustrating?
for me, I'm very conveniently placed in my office, and I'm going around with my business as normal. But my wife, who's a working woman, she's at home. Okay, so at times she has to the same thing. What I think this ma'am asked about the frustration. See, once you have decided, it's your mindset that you just think that you are at your workplace and you are giving 9 to 5. You dress up in the morning, okay, to feel that you are part of your daily routine, and you should time it also in such a way that, okay, fine, everyone should be on at this particular time. There should be a tea break, there should be lunch break. It's not that it is an open-ended working thing, because once if you get into this open-ended working thing, then the frustration starts creeping.
And I think it is less frustrating, and I want the classes to be online for until I get graduated, because I don't have to get ready and wake up. Most of the time, I'm lying on my bed and working. That is my thing. But obviously, in a field like yours, one can't be that much reckless. And there is another question. This is by Komal, and she's asking that considering that we have a telecommunication problem in those areas where your organization is working, so was it difficult, because obviously the whole world is working online and from home, but in Pakistan not everyone has internet, or if they have it, like me, it doesn't work properly. So how did you cater with all such things?
See, again, like, see, working for an organization, it's very easy. You have all the logistics in place, you have the support staff, but from home it's a big challenge, and the power outages are bigger challenge. So these are something that one has to cope with. But talking about, coming back to frustrations, you see, especially the underdeveloped countries, we have one big frustration issue, and that is commuting on a daily basis. So once you're working from home, this commuting thing is off your mind. You see people who are traveling by buses or their own transport, getting stuck in the traffic and all these things. So maybe for them it is less frustrating.
Yeah, but K Electric is more frustrating than any commuting problem at the moment because everyone is dying out of heat, and but it is not problem at my end. But there's another question. Kinza is asking that how do you facilitate the emotional flex? Basically, her question is that there is this restraint or the wall or the bridge, the barrier between you and me, between the screens. So how how would you even recommend us to deal with it, and how
It's a,
have you been doing it?
it's a very good question. Normally, as humans, we thrive on personal interaction. You see, when you are face to face with people, you are observing their body language, all right? the way they are dressing up, their eye contacts and all, which is not possible when you are online. So I
Yeah.
think our own motivation for our own development, this is something that we should not discontinue with. And this even many people who need this social, contact to be with people and discussing like personal discussions, they need this.
Yeah, yeah. There's another question by Sonu Kumar, and he's asking how to avoid sadness. Still, this is linked with the frustration part while working from our place, like working from home.
See, I have one firm belief. There was a time when people used to talk about being loyal to the organization, right? But nowadays they say whatever you are doing, you should be passionate about it. So once you are passionate about what you are doing, I don't think there will be an element of being sad.
Hmm. And I think that work is the work. Those who are working from home are more privileged than someone who is sitting home, like your labor and your helping staff. They have nothing, so it's we are privileged. Still, we are doing something.
Yeah.
There's another question by Ajanta, and she's saying, "How would you describe the responsibilities that comes along with your position?"
Well, when I talk about responsibilities and position, let's make it very clear that responsibilities, okay, with positions, it changes. But we are heading towards a world where
Hmm.
people are talking about future leaders who will be collaborative. There will not be a single leader who leads. Okay, there will be different leaders. So it should be more of a collaborative leadership. And definitely, when you are a leader, when you are in that position, you have to learn to lead from the front.
But like you have said, that now the world is heading towards collaborative work and collaborative, leadership. So don't you think so that can also bring clashes of decision making? Or do you see it in the other way around that, okay, if you're a leader of XYZ firm, I'm ABC firm leader, so we are coming together and creating something big for the welfare of the public. How do you see it?
Well, one should look at it positively. I wouldn't call it clashes, but you see, there should be some objective criticism,
Mm-hmm.
critical thinking, and
That's a constructive one. I'm not
yeah,
talking about that. But as
and,
human beings, we don't
and
like.
as a leader, one should not be thinking or talking about confrontation.
Hmm.
Or it is something you can assert your position. Assertiveness means, I'm sure you all know, that whatever your viewpoint is, you have to put it across.
So,
So,
uh, well, then I have another question. That if you have certain point and you have to put it across, and what if I'm working under you and I am, not CEO? So would you take it as a good advice, or would you change your, whatever your opinions and your plans of the organizations are? That never happens. If we, want to be politically correct at the moment, then we say yes, we take it openly. But never
let,
happens.
let me answer this question. It's a very good question, but it also gives me an opportunity to share my experiences with Dr. Ruth Hawk.
Yeah.
She was a person who started appreciating me, not because I opposed her, because I was the first person to tell her, Dr. Paul, I don't agree with you. See, you see, these are the qualities of leaders who don't take this as criticism, but as an objective difference of opinion. So, as a leader, if you are a true leader, you will give your team members a reasonable hearing. They can view their opinion, and one should be, bold enough to accept it. And this is how it goes, because the leader is someone who always speaks last, because first he has to listen to what his team members have to say.
So this is a very, very good point that you're saying that we don't have to, follow everything that a leader has to say. to say. You can have a contrast of opinions, obviously, and being a leader, one should accept it because she has accepted your, what I should say, um, a thinking beyond her thinking or opinion beyond her opinion, and that is why you are a leader of an organization. So this is very a good example that if a leader would encourage or be open to take any criticism, or not even a criticism, opinions from different creative minds, then you might just training few more leaders for the future. So this is such a good point that I've learned from the webinar. There is another question from Taha. He's saying, do you reasonably believe that at one point of time, working from home is more productive? Do you believe that? Well, I do, because you don't have to wear, these
See, I'm still,
time work
I'm,
freely. I think this is productive. I can be
I'm still an advocate of the old school of thought that till I don't
oh,
have like personal interaction with people, it does not stimulate me. All right, but the youngsters, they are more into this trendy online, working from home, remote working. Uh, well, there are opportunities for the underdeveloped countries in this sense. I will just share with you. 3 days
hmm,
back, a friend of mine in America has opened a business, and that friend asked me if you can line up two employees, a secretary and an administrator, for a very paltry amount, Pakistani rupees. Well, and the timing he said would be 6 p.m. to 2 a.m.
okay.
So I told him this is exploitation of workers. You are earning in dollars and you are paying the Pakistanis in rupees.
Hmm.
All right. Another, if you look at it positively, it's an opportunity for our people to get employed.
Yeah.
Okay, because cheap labor, they are going for cheap labor, but a time will come when the Europeans or the American labor, they will start reacting to it, that our jobs are
They
being taken.
have the Brexit is a reaction to the England reacting to their the field was different. The clash was of medical and not of all the fields, but at the end of the day they reacted that we want Great Britain back because all the Palestinians, Syrians and XYZ are coming and taking our jobs. So the world has seen that drastic
So
change
I
in
am
the Brexit.
I'm talking about online jobs, because
Hmm.
they don't need to travel to America to do their job. You are getting salary working from home. You can be in any part of the world.
Hmm. So
So this is
yeah, there's a last question that I want to take is from Abdul Rahman. He says that since social distancing is important, many of the companies have introduced work from home policy. Do you think employees are giving their 100%, or is it's a waste of the time and energy at the same time?
well, I personally feel that we are working towards a world that will be more uh, online working. Okay, they'll be working from home.
Hmm.
So when we talk about remote working, one thing that is very essential is that we have to learn to trust the people who are working remotely. Till
Hmm.
you don't trust them, you are not going to get ahead.
And I think, as if I talk on the behalf of employees' perspective, like you have mentioned earlier, that if you are passionate about your work, it doesn't really matter whether you are locked up in a locker or home or office. If you're passionate what you're doing, so you would give your 100%. And I would like to thank you, sir, that you have given us your precious time. Our Sir Salman Rajani is very pleased to have you, and we are really pleased that we have such constructive discussion today and got to know a lot about your organization, at the same time about the behavior that a leader should have towards their subordinates, and what sort of effects that can have on them for the future. Thank you so much for giving me precious time.
And pleasure was mine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.